Welcome to the Bill and Frantz show. We're gonna be talking some heavy
Stay tuned.
All right, welcome to Bill and Frantz show. Happy spring. We've got two guests today. Usual we have one or zero. Today we've got two. To my immediate left is Joe Rhodes. Then of course there's Frantz. And to my far left, to your right, is Jefferson, musician extraordinaire, among many other talents. The big news internationally is that, well, there's many things going on. We're going to ignore North Korea and just talk about the United Kingdom.
Okay.
The former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Margaret Thatcher, recently died, and some people are going, ding dong, the witch is dead, and a small portion of people are mourning her death. What do you guys think of her? What do you know about her? I mean, I know she's not from America, but what across the seas, what impression do you get?
I think she's racist.
Yeah. The Iron Maiden.
The Iron Lady?
The Iron Lady. I thought the Iron Maiden.
The Iron Madam. Yeah, she was a tough cookie. I guess what she's best known for is having privatized a lot of the state industries.
Right.
Something
George Bush did.
Something George Bush did, but her at the time she was around here at the same time as Reagan. They were good buddies. Reagan privatized a lot of state industries as well.
Yeah.
I think that she is less popular than Reagan was retroactively. I think a lot of people still like Reagan.
That's amazing to me, man. I'm like, whoa, what happened here? Logic just left the planet.
Yeah. Well, by today's standards, Reagan seems pretty tame. Anyway, I'm going to go through a couple things that she's known for saying. One of the things that there's a famous quote by her: "There is no such thing as society." That's something where she was criticizing the welfare state. She said that there was too much dependency, and she also was she kind of had that idea that there were no excuses, that people were always blaming society for the ills of the individuals, and she's like, no, individuals are responsible for that, for their own ills. What do you think of that?
Selfish wench.
Yeah. Definitely. Someone who totally has her mind on the fact that we run this and you're gonna do what we say. Period. That's just how it goes. And I mean, until we understand that, these people are about power and control. I mean,
they get all the money, so
they got everything.
So don't expect power
except us.
With a heart.
They don't have the people, and that's where we can beat them at.
Yeah.
With unity.
One of the interesting things about her is that she was really tough and wanted control and everything like that, but at the same time she sold off everything. And when she sold off everything, she sort of gave away the control to the private industries, but still wanted that control. If you remember, back in the 80s, it was very in fashion for many countries, including our own, to impose sanctions on South Africa because of apartheid. Most civilized nations did that. However, she stood out among others, her peers, by opposing sanctions to South Africa, because she saw the ANC, the African National Congress, as a terrorist group, the equivalent of the IRA, the Irish Republican Army. Yeah. Which is, back in those days, even the idea of a terrorist was tamer than it is now.
Some old terrorists are now known as national heroes in their country.
That's right. It's all a matter of
perspective. They helped, the liberation of colonialism. A lot of that stuff happened during that time.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I believe the revolutionaries of America, George Washington and John Adams, were considered terrorists by this very same country.
I would say so, especially to the Indians.
That's in the other direction.
Let me not call them Indians. Let me call them Native Americans, because that's what they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Both before and after being British, right? Because there was because the Americans were still British and they were terrorizing the Indians before and after the Revolution. So she didn't earn a lot of respect internationally for that particular move. And some would say, well, they did blow up a few train tracks. The ANC did blow up a few train tracks here and there in the 60s, but this was the 80s, so they really had stopped doing that. And Nelson Mandela, pretty much everyone thought was pretty cool. even then, you know, and he was a righteous dude and all that. But she didn't care because rumor has it that she grew up in a relatively racist household.
She was at a time in history anywhere. I don't think she would have been too nice to our kind anyway.
That's the problem. A lot of films, we're not facing real American history.
Yeah, the fact that you don't know about Black Wall Street till you get older and really study.
Right.
I mean, that's sad. That's a part of American history.
All right, so let's go from British history to American history. We're going to take a little break, and we'll come back, and Joe will take over the conversation, teach us a few things about the real history of the United States, all right? See you soon.
Yeah.
La Marita is not a sponsor of the Bill and Frantz Show.
We're back. We're going to get to our conspiracies now. What's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
It's all good, you know what I'm saying?
I was just wanting to enlighten everyone that it's a problem going on in our community right now, you know. And I think we are not aware of it. It's the fact that we don't own one single business in our own neighborhood. And I think that it's a conspiracy behind it. For the simple fact that how is it that all these people from other countries can come to our neighborhood and get capitalized to do business in our neighborhood, and we can't? I don't understand that. That's just, I mean, it's, first of all, we don't have a dollar. We need to do better at trying to understand that it's a conspiracy for us to stay down in our neighborhoods. And until we understand that, we're gonna continue to go down this road, man.
Well, you know what, man? I'm not from Missouri or St. Louis, but when I got here, and I've been here for a while, I listened to people tell me about things about Missouri, and different laws and different policies and different things going on. In this last election with Slay and Reed, somebody was telling me, and I kind of been getting this information over the years, that it's always been a lack of business interest, or business won't go to the north side, or they won't put the funds there for businesses in the north side to create businesses. And I always thought, in just old fashioned terms, that it's just, this is Missouri, you know what I'm saying?
This is the Midwest.
This is the Midwest. And I'm telling you, from Texas coming to Missouri, I've been in more trouble with the police in Missouri. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
You know, in Texas, I mean, because in Texas, if you cross this line, you know, this is where you are.
As far as the black community,
Yeah.
as far as ownership, I mean, we won't let, let's say the thugs in the street, they won't let the black man or either one of us on the store, they'll come in and rob us quicker than they'll rob whoever else.
Right.
We don't want to see our own people, you know, we selfish, basically. It's
Well, that's another conspiracy all in itself to me. I thought that, you know, from the beginning, you know, once they came to this land, you know, they changed everything about us. Our names, our gods, everything was changed. So when we came here, we already had so to say, 2 strikes, and we swinging now, and we about to strike out. If we keep continuing to go this route.
So let me ask you this. He's saying that the black community is almost every man for itself, so it doesn't team together to help itself, right?
Right.
So
Right.
who is conspiring to make that happen? How does that work?
I think it was it's been started from the beginning. I mean, it starts from the beginning. It's kind of like when slavery came about, and you was took over here against your will, of course. and they took your name, they took your God, they took the way you speak, everything away from you, and they gave you this. And so now you have to conform to this, but at the same time, this isn't yours to begin with, so of course you're not going to do it right. And to say that we should do it like they do it and be successful at it, I mean, that's crazy.
Well, you know what, man? I look at it like, it's been a lot of time, right? I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I said, you know, it's been 50 years of civil rights, but 350 years of oppression, and you know, and so, and degradation and disrespect, and I mean, we were 3/5 of a person at that time. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So the ideology basically is that 50 years of civil rights, then we think we're free. So you only become free if your people unite. And then through that uniting, we develop a power that's political. You have to have political power, and that's community unity. And so, until we do that, we won't have. This system is never going to offer us nothing because we were always nothing in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Correct.
but in this society, to become something, you have to have this, because this is what this society is about. It's green. So until we do that,
Sell out to get that.
you know what I'm saying? But then once you do that and you get all of it, what's wrong with the whole Thurgood Marshall idea of coming together, some of us, and creating a pot that tries to help everybody else, but you can't help everybody because everybody don't want help.
Right.
Some people are just never they're gonna be where they are. But those who want it make that resource available. You know what I'm saying? But they get up in there, like you say, sell out and forget who they are. You know, but it's
Get a little education, get a good job, and they move away from the neighborhood.
Because something's gonna happen. You got that money. Everybody know you got that money,
Yeah.
and that's where it comes right back to the circles, just a big circle.
Well, see, it didn't have to start like that. It ended up like that, but it didn't have to start like that.
Yeah.
And I think the only way to get it back is we have to probably go through those hardships of people trying to rob you and all that. But eventually, I think they'll start to see that you in the neighborhood to do good, you know, and that they'll start supporting you. I mean, it has to start at least.
It has to start.
You know, we have to give it a chance.
James Brown said it, black and I'm proud. A lot of folks I walk around, I say that, I was saying this at Forest Park when I was there for a short period of time. I was like, you need to be proud of who you are. The Irish are very proud of who they are. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. Let them be proud, right? The Russians, I haven't met one race, and I've been around the world, that wasn't proud of who they are. Black Americans don't seem to be proud of who they are. But that's because we really don't know who we are.
Exactly.
And so we have to discover some type of identity that we all agree with. And I particularly like the remember when in between the 30s and the 60s where the Depression was going on, black folks weren't doing that bad. You know what I'm saying? Because we were never connected to those institutions in the first place.
And they were united.
And they were united.
Exactly.
And so when somebody says, you know, different terms or the N-word, me, if you're going to have to identify me as something, identify me as a Negro then, because those Negroes were handling their business.
Right.
They had pianos and businesses, but a lot of things changed.
Bus lines.
Right, you know?
Yeah.
So when we look at all this, it's just what is it called? A regression. Yeah. We're regressing. And somehow...
Instead of progressing.
Right.
Correct. And that's my whole issue with why we don't own anything in our neighborhoods. We don't have a dollar. We have to establish ourselves a dollar, like you say, to gain political power. Because we can't, it really makes no sense for someone of our levels to even be voting or doing any of that. Because until you have political power, like you say, unless you have money behind a politician, you're not going to get your, you know what I'm saying, your need or your want anyway.
That's right.
And we know who has those politicians. It's the corporates.
Right. Everything costs money, man.
That's right.
One thing I gotta say, as anytime someone says there's no use for us to vote, I have to raise a hand to that.
Okay, well, let's hear
You've got to raise a vote. You've got to vote. Otherwise, anytime you make a complaint, it's irrelevant. And you know, even as far as like changing, I mean, what you're talking about is the politicians being in the cup, being cupped, if you will, by the corporations.
Right.
You know, there are some politicians go out of their way to change campaign finance, and that's what it's all about, right? It's not happening. I know my alderman's fighting to change the campaign finance rule right here in St. Louis City, and I'm happy for him and I support him.
Oh, no, I'm not telling people don't vote locally.
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just the same level up. I mean, you got to support the politicians in Washington who support the idea of campaign finance, and some do, most don't, some do. But if you vote for those that do, then you make a difference. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I tell you, voting is important. I understand that, but for the community to rise, we have to want it to rise. And unfortunately, it's going to be a lot of brothers and sisters caught up in that web that's going to get locked up in that. You know what I'm saying? Or caught up in that darkness, because that's where it is right now. Prison is a business. It's a good business. Matter of fact, you can buy stock in prisons.
That's right.
So, once we realize that this ain't working, us disrespecting our sisters, because even when we disrespect our sisters, that means we're disrespecting our mamas, we're disrespecting everything, we're disrespecting our lives, our history, and this idea that we bought into, that it's okay for us to hate upon each other. It's okay for us to go to jail because that's an end thing to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we make mistakes. Some of us make mistakes and we end up there. But this is a system. It's a policy almost. You know, to get as many as you can. Because when you see and look at politics, it's always about black faces, brown faces, and some white faces. Now they're getting red faces. You know, so, but it's all about money and power now. Man, this thing is so deep. That's why when I tell people, this country is damn near practically going to have to break down in order to build up. You know what I mean?
See that happening?
Nah, what I see is it's only going to happen for us in the black community if we decide we're tired of all the labels that was placed upon us, and we're going to stand up and be who we were.
It's going to be hard.
Right.
It's going to be hard,
It's
though,
hard.
when you got a lot of people confused about the truth anyway.
Right.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that until most people don't get it until they grown. So
Right.
you know.
I just like to say that a lot of these things went down. I mean, the black community did in the 50s and 60s and 70s did all get together and fought all that stuff, and then it kind of all fell apart in the 80s, 90s, and now. And it's just like,
where did our pride go?
Yeah.
Where did it go? I mean,
it started in the 60s, man. You know what the problem right now is our families, our black families. We don't have black families. You know what I'm saying? The households are divided. The kids are out in the streets, they're learning how to shake their ass rather than learn how to read and write. You know what I'm saying?
we might need to, not to cut you off, but we might need to go back to just having that good sit-down dinner with your family.
Right.
Everybody sitting at the table, talking out problems, discussing things. That way you can get views from your elders,
Now,
and they can tell you.
Would that affect as much as TV? Because TV is a big product of that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
they're
a big
using TV to really push it.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Look, this battle we're talking about is not an easy battle.
Yeah,
This is a fight
Yes, it
to
is.
the end. You know. So
Yeah,
and that's what
like
Malcolm.
I wear a lot of fatigue outfits because I'm always at war. I keep telling people that we are at war.
But check this out. That's the Bill and Frantz show. Stay tuned. We rock it like we always do. Check out our guests. These brothers is handling their business. Peace.